Hi, Steve Bergen here, and we're going to talk today about Classkick. This is version 36, October 2014. Classkick, which has been around just for a few months, not long, is an amazing app. And I use the word unique because I can't say most unique. That's not proper English. But this is unique, and you'll be the judge as you watch this video. It really changes the game in terms of our usage of iPads in the classroom to be able to easily share a worksheet, exercise, lesson, if you will, with 10, 15, 25 kids in your classroom. But please observe what I've written in the bottom line here, that technology is more about perspiration than inspiration, and you're going to want to work hard at this and practice because there's so many aspects to Classkick, and you got to get yourself up to speed just like you would with any musical instrument. So I'm loading up Classkick either as a student or a teacher. Later we'll load it up as teachers, as students. Now we're going to head this way as teachers. I've got an account and I'm choosing Go. I decide I want to add a lesson, right? And so I'm going to make my new assignment October 10th, and it's going to be all about fractions. I'm doing this the night before class or the morning of before class. I'm not doing it before the kids, when the kids walk in. I'm doing it ahead of time, right? It's more about perspiration than inspiration. Okay, now I've got my October 10th fractions, and I'll go to my question sheet, and here I will use the drawing tool, and in red, because I'm a Red Sox fan, I would just say to the students, go 1/2 plus 1/3. I will click on the T tool, and I will say double tap to type. So I tap tap, and then I will say in all caps, show your work. And I'm preparing a lesson, and I can do a little audio clip. For those of you who need help, you want to get a common denominator of the 2 and the 3. Think of that common denominator. I think it's going to be 6. And then you change each fraction into something over 6. And then you go ahead and change the numerators. You got it. Good luck. Okay, now we have audio, we have text, we have a problem, right? And I am going to go to the next page, right? And on the next page, I think if I go check mark first, right now I'm going to add a question, and I'm going to make this question harder for kids who are pretty good. And now I will go in blue because I'm also a Patriots fan. 1/2 plus 1/3 plus 1/4. I will skip the audio and the text. I will go add my next question. The next question is going to get pretty hard, so be careful. Green, because I'm a Celtics fan. 1 plus 1 over 1 plus 1 over 1 plus 1. Okay, and again, only because of time, I'm not going to do the other features. And just to do one more hard one, I'm going to add a question. Right? And if you happen to be a math person, you either know this or you'll be intrigued by this purple question, which is 1 plus 1 over 1 plus 1 over 1 plus 1. And now I say forever. In other words, those 3 dots mean forever, right? And this is a hard problem. Good luck if you give it a try. Now you can also get things from the web, so things from your camera roll, right? So I can click on the picture and I can go to my camera roll and I can crop a portion of this, right? And that's a wonderfully done feature here, and choose use. And then I use 2 fingers to move that picture. Okay, I erase this portion of the screen. Nope, I don't want to clear all. I just want to erase that. Again, you have many features here. You can record, you can get things from your camera roll, you can crop or use whole. I will take this cropping right here, cancel, sorry, do it again, making mistakes. You see, this is why inspiration is very, very important. Okay, and I will pull down from the corner. Two fingers. There's a delete button over here, so you throw things that you don't want with two fingers. You move them over there. Let me get one good crop before we move on. So I'm going to crop. Here's an old Sports Illustrated, Larry Bird. Drag to crop a portion of the image. Okay. So tap here to use the whole. I'll do that. I can resize it with two fingers. I can move it with two fingers. That's a strange interface, but you'll just understand that since Classkick is twice as good as any other app, you're going to use two fingers to both change its size or to move it. Okay, now I'm going to click the check mark, and I've got my assignment here. And if I click on October 10th fractions, and that's my question sheet, I'm going to go to my assignments, and what I've got to do before I introduce you to the students, right, is I've got to get a roster, right? So do you see up top there are codes where it says J12 and 191 and 192, okay? So these are my rosters, okay, and I can create a new roster, and this roster will be the roster for just this one assignment, and this is going to be October 10th, and it's going to say fractions, and there's the code I'm going to give to my kids, J12193. In fact, they're walking into class. Hey students, write this down, J12193. You got it? J12193. I will put that on the board as well. Okay, you're about to meet my students. Okay, you two, get your iPads ready, right? We're going to load up Classkick with this code. Don't be shy now. Okay, you've met the students, and now we're going to take a look at what happens when one student logs in. So the Larry Bird doll is going to log in, and this note has been posted on the board for the last minute. The kids know how to log in, and this is what the Larry Bird doll sees. Basically, the doll sees, the student sees, 4 problems. Okay, you've met the students, and now we're going to take a look at what happens when one student logs in. So the Larry Bird doll is going to log in, and this note has been posted on the board for the last minute. The kids know how to log in, and this is what the Larry Bird doll sees. Basically, the doll sees, the student sees, 4 problems with any embellishments that have been added to the problems themselves. So the student sees and can hear the audio. For those of you who need help, we want to get a common denominator of the... Okay, Larry doesn't know what denominator means. He's not been paying attention. So obviously he could just ask me in class, but he also could do the fancy thing of typing and saying, Mr. Bergen, what is a denominator? What is a... You move text with 2 fingers. And so the text gets moved with 2 fingers. Larry can press the hand in the bottom left, and that says, "Hey teacher, please help." Larry can press the bottom left and say, "Teacher, please check." Larry can pick up the pen and he could try doing the problem. Then he could say to the teacher, "Please check." Larry can go on to the next problem. Don't let the fancy features of Classkick alter you or throw you as a classroom teacher. Just use it as a screen share and letting the kids do work. And this work accumulates on your screen, and that in and of itself is wonderful. You don't have to use the scoring points. You don't have to use the typewriter on the bottom left. In fact, if you teach with 10 or 15 kids in a class, you don't have to use, please help, please check, because you're walking around the back of the room and you can see what the kids are doing. But the very fact that you can distribute work this easily and the kids are engaged, working on a series of problems so that they can work on things at their own level, that in and of itself is worth the price of admission. Absolutely. Absolutely, right? This is 1/2 and 1 plus 1/2. The fact that kids are engaged and working, you've given them a series of problems, is fantastic. Okay, let's take a look at some other things, especially what the teacher's going to see at this point. Okay, we are now back looking at the teacher screen. The 2 students have logged in. I will take it slow and you look around. The name of our lesson is October 10th Fractions. The code which I posted on the board was J12193. That's the essential code to let the students in. I see my 4 problems on my exercises, and in the upper right it says View Student Work. This takes a few seconds, and sometimes you have to do a trick or two in order to see everything. But now I see the Larry Bird doll in the top row, and I see Hulk Hogan in the second row. And as Hulk goes to the second problem, and Hulk starts working on the second problem, putting in 4/12 and let's see, oh, come on Hulk, do some work here. 4/12 and 3/12, and go back to that first screen, okay, and you'll actually get to see the student work. I can tune in to what Larry is doing, and I can click, and I could give him a tip, and I could do it by typing, I can do it by handwriting, and I can put a tip up here, but I can also do it just by circulating around the room and saying, "Hey Larry, you got to get the tops of the fractions to be the same." Right? This is not computers versus human dialogue. This is computers and human dialogue. And anytime I want, I can go back to that screen. Notice that the LB doll and the Hulk Hogan are both green. I will have Larry go to the 4th problem, which I don't think he has the smarts to do, but he likes seeing himself on Sports Illustrated there. And I will ask Larry to do some circling in red. And as he circles something in red, I believe in a few seconds you will see it on this screen because they're all connected. So just using this to distribute problems and have kids do work, and this work is going to be on my teacher screen at all times. Okay, so I've got features galore in terms of In the bottom right, I can give Larry points, but don't worry about that stuff until you're well into this. I can click on the hand and I can see when Hulk, by the way, notice how Hulk is all white at this point, because that's apparently that Hulk has snuck out and isn't working on this. He's surfing on the web somewhere. So when I force him to get back into this, you will see that when he's back in the problem, it will go back to being green, and green means that he is working, and white means that he has escaped and is no longer working in the app. So your ability to see student work, your ability to make marks that the students are going to see, okay, so that you can mark things up. Okay, all this is part of the environment of Classkick. You see how we have some activity by Hulk Hogan, and then he has gone out, and now he's coming back in, and now he's on that slide, and now he's going to the first slide, and now he's doing some work on the first slide, and he's making that 3-6, and he's making that 2-6, and he's making that 5-6, right? That will appear. It takes a few seconds, right? But it will appear. Do you see it down in the bottom left? So you're watching your students work. You're walking around the classroom. You're talking to the kids. You're telling them that they need help on certain things. You're giving them easy problems and hard problems, right? There's no doubt in my mind that this is a game changer in your classroom, all right? I hope that this view of the teacher view has been helpful. Okay, some final comments about Classkick and a few things I want to show you. Use this in stages. Use it, but don't take everything on at once. Use it just at first to put a few problems and share, and don't worry about the other features. Glass of water tells us that it's half full, it's 3/4 full. The publishers and programmers are constantly refining this. They've been doing it for months, right? So don't worry about the few things like the font size that's not there yet, right, and all that stuff, but take advantage of what it is and don't worry about what it's not yet. Be a pioneer, and in 2014-15, try it out and know that it's going to take a few times with your kids to get the hang of it. This is very different than your traditional teaching. And finally, let me clarify a few things for you that I didn't do that well on the first video. When you go to get a picture, and I get a picture from my camera roll or my photo library, which is what it is now called, and I've got my picture, and let me see if I've got one of states here. There we go. Okay. The cropping feature works wonderfully, even though I botched it in the opening video. If you want to crop Wyoming, you take one finger and you go from the northwest corner down and you crop Wyoming. Not only that, but you can crop Missouri at the same time and crop New Mexico at the same time with one finger swiping from northwest to southeast. And then when you say use, it gives you the 3 graphics, and they're movable by 2 fingers. 2 fingers move. And 2 fingers, sometimes you don't hold them down with enough pressure, and now you're drawing instead. So you can erase with the eraser, or you can hold down the eraser and choose clear all. 2 fingers held down moves your graphic. 2 fingers resizes. So I have 3 graphics that I got by cropping, and I hope that helps you with cropping. With text, you double tap to type, and after you have something and you only have one font size, you can move that also with, click the check mark on the upper left, with 2 fingers. So with 2 fingers, I can move that typing. Where'd the typing go? Sorry, I messed up again. Typing, return, and I can move that, but it's not that easy to grab with 2 fingers, so be careful. But with 2 fingers, you can move text. So the light blue is for text, the camera roll is the purple, the R is recording your audio, and I didn't say anything about this feature. This allows me to have a label called Learn, and now you can have a link. For now, I'll just put summercore.com. It does not work on the teacher level, so at this point in time, there's no way to test it out. But when the student, the Larry Bird doll, the Hulk Hogan doll, gets to this screen, then he or she taps on the link and it goes to the link. Okay? Those are the things I wanted to show you, right, and do a better job than I did in the initial teaching. Hopefully this has been good, right? Please give it a shot, but use it as a pioneer. Use it as a pioneer. Try it out, maybe with 2 or 3 kids after school. Then try it out with your class, just with a problem, and don't use any of the fancy features. And slowly you're going to get the hang of how to do this. This is going to take you a little while, but it's absolutely worth it. Okay, Steve Bergen signing off. Bye.